still have their names on your tongue. You acknowledge them, you let them know that they still matter. And that is what Coco Nyamili, Coco Nyamili, Coco Nyamili, Coco Nyamili, Ibole, Ibobono, Ndamami, Ibole, Ibobono, Ndamami, Ebulanyelu, Anamabara na ihe dị njọ ma na-emezi konye ofeke Anamabara nọ n'ihe dị njọ ma na-emezi konye ofeke Igbo bụ n'ndike ụmụ Igbo bụ n'ndike ụmụ Igbo bụ n'ndike Otito niile dịrị Chineke. Welcome to another episode of Chism Live. It is always a pleasure to have you here, and I am so grateful to be right along with you walking amongst the living. I'm Ukedibia Dr. Wanyo Husimiri, and I am your host of this wonderful, wonderful show. It is my pleasure to welcome you into our space. And I want to take this moment and give thanks to Chineke, reverence to Chi, and reverence to Ike. May I welcome you into my space. I want you to understand that you are welcome. Whatever concerns you concerns me. This is your space where we can have camaraderie. Let us take a moment to remember the ancestors. Let's remember the great-grandfathers. Let us remember the great-grandmothers. Let's remember those people who are still on the journey to self-actualization, to the state of Amarachi. Let us welcome into our spirit the children yet to be born and wish them well as they travel into this space. Let us remember the two truth sayers, the nation builders. Let us take a moment to remember that right where we are, Chineke is. Let us find peace. Let us acknowledge peace, because right where we are, there is peace, perfect peace, peace of Chineke. We know that Chineke is right here. He say, let every way of our lives be light and all our eyes be crowned with good. And may the world prosper by our ministry forever and ever. And so it is. Onofia, Onor wherever you find yourself today, within the confines of your home or outside looking in, may nothing but goodness follow you today. I'm not feeling very well today, but I say, when you have to talk about Chineke, you will feel better. So I'm here, and I just started speaking of the Most High, and I'm telling you the truth, I'm not lying. I'm feeling a little bit better already. So thank you, Chineke, for this wonderful opportunity. And it is my pleasure and honor to welcome my co-host, Dibia Yudi Onyoha. Dibia Ndewo.
Ndewo, I tell you what, man, your strength is admirable. I can't even believe we're having this show with you, not feeling the way you are, but listening to you talk, being filled with the spirit of Chineke. This is evidence that sometimes your strength comes from your focus. And if you're focusing on Chineke and make that your pillar, something to rally around to give you the strength and the energy and the focus that you need, you can never go wrong. This is pure evidence, and I thank Chineke for making you feel better, and for this show going on today without us having to cancel it because the OKDBR is not feeling good. So guys,
So he said, he said,
I don't know if you noticed, I'm out of town, so my background, everything is kind of bland. So
Oh, that's
it's not as
okay.
pretty as yours is right now. So
Oh, that's
excuse me.
okay. That is
All
okay.
right.
It is perfectly okay. We are not mad at you.
All right.
And it's not mad at you. Today, let me welcome Kuna Charles. And I want to announce, if you guys, I don't know if I announced it right last week, but Kuna Charles has gotten his first certificate for engineering. I was so
Nice.
proud of him. So he's going to take more and more of those certificates. And I just know one of these days he's going to be one of the most brilliant minds in Nigeria. You can take that, whatever you believe is what's going to happen. So we're praying for him, and he continues this wonderful journey that he's on. He's going to make it. He's going to make it. So today is according to the horoscope is Uzondo. The horoscope is something as Uzondo. So this is the month of Amadioha. And I have it in the banner there to show that this is the month of Amadioha, which is March the 10th through April 6th. This month represents the grace of Chi regarding divine protection. The individual born in this month is protective, supportive, very spiritual, and strong-willed. I don't know how many of you are born this. Who are you? What if you're born in this month? Hey, before I continue, let me bring the queen in. Hello, 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 hello. How are
Hi.
you, Monet?
Good
How you
morning.
Good
Vivian
morning.
Monet. Kawo.
Always good to see you.
Yeah, nice to
Always
see
good
you
to see you.
too.
Yes, yes, yes. You look good. You always look good. You
Oh,
look
thank
like
you so
Always.
much.
look at
Always.
you. I said I'm trying to keep up with you now. I got to do better.
Well, I need
That
to keep up
smile.
with you.
That
I'm learning. I'm
smile.
learning from you.
Yeah,
The
you are
exuberance
doing
is
great.
very
Yeah, you are
infectious.
doing just great, great, great. So anyway, I started saying that this is the month of Amadioha,
Yes.
male energy, protection and supportive, very spiritual and strong-willed. The person born in this month, the month of, and that is March the 10th through April the 6th. So those of you who were born within that time frame, congratulations, happy birthday, happy birth month, and all that good stuff. All right, and we hope that you act out what your month is supposed to represent. You're a powerful person, you're protective, it's a male energy, so you're supportive of your family, of your spouse, and very spiritual and strong-willed. Now that doesn't mean that if you're female you don't have that male energy as well. It goes both for male and female. So anyway, congratulations for those of you who are born this month. I hope that the world is a little bit more protected with you in it. The important color of the month is violet. I don't have any violet. I would have worn it, but I just couldn't find any. So here we are. The virtues that we're supposed to practice is patience, patience, patience. Take your time. Take your time, whatever you're doing. Take your time. And when you take your time, the other virtue that it's associated with this one is peace. You will find your peace. You will find your peace. And believe me, when you find your peace, the other virtue is humility. When you are at peace with yourself and you're patient, you find humility. May all three find you today. And as I indicated earlier, the energy this month is male. Symbol is king's scepter. It's for protection. That is the symbol that represents the month of Amadioha. And then when we say we have ancestral mandates, these are some of the ways that we know that our ancestors acted and would appreciate if we act the same way, because to act the same way is to honor and cherish who we are. So what are those mandates? We must avoid deception. For those of you who have heard about the election in Nigeria, how deceptive was that? That is one of the things that we frown upon. Do not deceive your fellow human beings. It makes you a phony person, because we're supposed to avoid phony people. So this month, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to be phony. Say what you say and mean what you say. And don't deceive anyone, because guess what? When you're deceptive, it will ultimately will come to pass. People will know that you're deceptive. As I said earlier, what's going on in Nigeria right now. And of course, don't be reckless. You guys see, if you know people who are displaying deception and phony and reckless, take the time and speak with them. Now, let me tell you the truth, though. Most people don't want you to tell them anything negative, and it's not being negative. So it's just, how do you present it to those individuals? Okay, so please, if you're deceptive, think about that. You may not even admit it to yourself that you're deceptive. Most people don't. But this is the time for you to be honest with your peers, with your community, your husband, your wife, your children. Be honest with them. Don't be phony. And, in other words, say one thing and mean another. And don't be reckless in your actions. Not in the month of Amadioha. Don't be reckless. Think before you act. That is so important. And then it talks about some causes we're supposed to support: civil rights and advocacy. Okay. And let me tell you why it's so interesting this month. Many of you may not be aware of it, but the African people in Tunisia, these people are going through hell, excuse the expression, anti-African abuse, including them being thrown out of their accommodations. They live in the streets. These are people who have worked hard, okay? But because of the anti-Black tirade of the Tunisian president, Kais Saied, I think it is, these people are being subjected to things you will not believe just because they are Black. Just because they are Black. It doesn't matter Black from where. They are discriminating. If you're a Black foreigner in Tunisia right now, you are catching off of, I don't like to use that expression, but hell. Now let me show you, and since we're supposed to, for this month of Amadioha, we're supposed to engage in advocacy and civil rights. There's a petition going on right now, and if you don't mind, I'm going to share that with you now. All of us should actually go there, and if we can, and participate in this petition, okay, to help these. And there's a picture. This is how they're living. These are African immigrants, and some of these people, they actually own businesses. They are successful. They work hard. But when the president started, talking negative about Africans, and I really, we're such kind people, so I really don't know why there's so much animosity towards Black people. So they're being thrown out in the streets. So I'm going to share. If you're interested in participating in signing this petition, I will send this to you, but you have to let me know in the message. Just send me a message that you would like to participate in the petition. And you know what's so interesting? If you look at it, only 39 people have signed. And you know what? They only need 50 signatures. And for them to have started this petition a while ago, and Black folks, only 39 have signed. Are we even interested in the well-being of our own people? So it is so interesting that we're stuck at 39. That is amazing to me, when all they're needing is 50. So please, if you're interested in being a part of this, do let me know so that I can send that information to you so you can participate. I think we should really participate. Okay, so that's something I wanted to share with you today. All right, so let's talk about why we're here today. Dibia Chia-Dozier is not with us today. I'm not quite sure why, but I did send him the information. Today's topic is Icho na Ubara, seeking money and abundance. So let me just start. We'll talk about money first. Then each one of you will talk about it. Then we go to what abundance means. Money, ego. For those of you who don't know Igbo, is a good way to learn that. Ego means money. Okay, Dr. Monet, ego. Ego, EGO, that's money. Now, contrary to popular belief, money is not the root of all evil. No, it's not. It's not. Money is a necessary thing, obviously, to get what we want. But it is how we go about acquiring it that is the problem. You know, in African spirituality, for the most part, money is looked at as something you use to help community, to help the community. And when you help the community, it comes back to you. That's why they say, your goodness, your funds, your money. Bring your goodness because God gave it to you free. Chineke gave it to you free. So bring it, share it. It's not saying give everything, but share some of it, because believe it or not, when you share with your community, it comes back to you. You will not be, if you amass a lot of wealth, you're not going to be buried with it. You're never buried with your money. You may have a new suit, you may have a new pair of shoes, you may have a new wristband. Hey, you may even be buried in a Mercedes. But the bottom line is, it's not all that money you're making is not going with you. Someone else will benefit from it. But the good feeling of sharing wealth is a powerful thing. And in our spirituality, we focus not so much on you making money to put in your pocket, but to earn money for yourself, but also share it. Because once your hand is open, more and more money comes to you. Some religions have corrupted the acquisition of money. You know, and what do I mean by that? There's so much dependence on, listen, you pray hard, you come here, you give me your money, and I'll pray for you, and I'll put my hand on your head, and I'll do the anointing, I'll do all of that, and miracles will happen, and you will get all this money. And then there are some other abhorrent means of making money. And the bad thing is that sometimes these churches are responsible for promoting those things, promoting making money illegally. And when I say illegally, I'm talking about when you're a pastor in church and you're telling somebody to give you their hard-earned money to tithe. If you don't get that, if you don't give me your money, you go into hell, or you'll never see peace. That quite frankly, believe it or not, that's acquiring money the wrong way, the church. And monkey see, monkey do. When people see how they are being pimped in the churches, they go out there and they try to do the same thing. You know, the religion has become a cesspool of religious harlotry, power struggle, power grab, and religiously related bigotry. Money has made the church so powerful that they have forgotten what they are supposed to be doing to serve people, to serve humanity. Instead, the pastors have to have big jets. The pastors have to have this. Everything has to be big. The wife has to have this. And yet the people giving you the money, they barely have money to eat. Money is not a problem. It is how we go about getting it. That's what's corrupting the objectives of spirituality. Many people go to church every day and they listen to these pastors. See, what you hear, sometimes you take with you. Well, not sometimes. Most times you take with you, even if it's a bad thing. You take it home because the pastor said. See, when you have, and that's what we teach. Money, you get money to take care of yourself, but you should, when you acquire possessions and material riches, if you don't get inner peace for it, that is not healthy. Money that you get without peace associated with it, it is not a good thing. It's like dying of thirst while bathing in the river. You have all that money, but you're not happy. You know, Howard Hughes, many of you know Howard Hughes. Howard Hughes is a classic example of what it's like to gain wealth and lose your soul. Many people just like him literally went crazy. He proved that money cannot buy you happiness. So when we in Judaism say, make some money for yourself, we're not telling you, give you tithe and give us your money and all that stuff. because that would not be fair. That would be cruel. That's not right. People should give, excuse me, freely if they wish to. People should not be forced and their hands tied to give tithes. So I just opened it with that. Now I got to go to UD. Your thoughts, and then Dr. Dominic.
A mouthful, a very difficult subject to address, but I'm going to address it. But my approach to this is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to speak off the cuff because I really don't have my notes. I'm out of town. But I'm going to get really deep into the weeds, okay, on this subject matter. And we're going to define a couple of things, just to bring it home to the audience and to make people think. Because lack of education, lack of awareness, human know thyself, that's the call of education. The idea that money is the root of all evil is based on definition that is biblical. Did you all hear what I just said? It's based on definition that is biblical. Because culturally speaking, money is not the root of all evil in all cultures. After all, prior to this definition, money meant nothing. Human beings dealt with one another through what is called trade by barter. I have a piece of corn, you got some meat. I need some meat, you need some corn. I take corn to you, you give me some meat, I give you the corn, we just traded. That was trade by barter. It's ancient, and in some communities, it still exists till today. Now, let's define evil. I have my cell phone here, I'm going to define it for you, at least the way it is in the dictionary. It has nothing to do with money. Remember, money is the root of all evil. So let's use some Nkomi, deep thinking, and let's get into the weeds here. Evil is defined as profound immorality and wickedness, especially when regarded as a supernatural force. Let me say this again. We're going into the weeds. We're going deep in here. We're doing Nkomi exercise, deep thinking. So let's get going. Profound immorality and wickedness, especially when regarded as a supernatural force. The world is stalked by relentless evil. Now, we're going to get even deeper, and this is going to make you think things that make you go, things you never thought about, things that you're not going to get in your church, things you're not going to get in your mosques, things that you will not get in any Abrahamic religion. You will get it in Shiism. Perhaps you will get this in Buddhism too, Sikhism, Shinto, and all these non-Abrahamic religions. Now, let me address human existence and the relationship that we have as human beings. In Shiism, Ofonogu fosters relationship. That's your conscience, truth and justice. This is Ofonogu is one of the pinnacles of, or should I say, part of the ontology of Chineke. It is your human conscience. This is what fosters relationships between you, your fellow human being, the environment. And if any one of these things go out of whack, right, you have issues. People fight one another, people kill one another, all kinds of evil starts, and it has nothing to do with what? Money.
Yeah.
So this definition of money is the root of all evil is not. It is designed for specific purpose to mess your mind up and look at money differently. Look at money in terms of you don't need it, but the people defining it for you need that money. Now, let's go deeper. Most religions that believe in a supreme being believe that Chineke, God, Yahweh, Tambana, Nkulunkulu, Vuzulele, Jiami, Allah, God in many names, created everything in the universe, everything under the sun and outside of it, everything under the moon at night and outside of it. The universe, according to those that believe in a creator, created everything. Now, I read a book when I was in college back in 1982 in Alabama, University of North Alabama in Florence. And the man's name, that book is not in print anymore because I've been looking for it, couldn't find it. But this author, Jonathan Hart, I think was his name, said that famine, war, murder, diseases, death is healthy divinely for the human population because for humanity, because it helps to maintain a balance between the population and food supply.
Mm-hmm.
Evil exists under the sun. And we believe, as those that believe in the creator responsible for all creations, including Ofonogu, including the evil that exists under the sun. Chineke has a hand in the creation of this evil. What is the purpose? It has a divine purpose. We don't look at it that way. We always want to ascribe that to the boogeyman. It's the devil. The devil created evil. What you've done with this particular Christian definition is to put the devil, Satan, whatever you want to call him, Lucifer, on the same par as Chineke. Chineke doesn't have the power to get rid of this evil. Why does Chineke allow this evil to exist? If it is so bad, if Chineke has the power to destroy everything, why are you tested? Why is evil in existence? Why does it exist? It is divine. As painful as it is. You don't want to see somebody get killed. You don't want to see somebody get conned. You don't want to see somebody, just have their whole existence snuffed out because of the existence of evil. But it's always existed. Your definition of evil sometimes depends on where you are located and what is happening to you. Do you think an earthquake that kills 100,000 people is evil? Do you think that the tsunami is evil? Why is money the root of all evil? Money is not the root of all evil. Money is not the root of all evil. It is a love of money that is the root of evil, some evil. Because the love of money can also make you do good things once you acquire it through legal means. This broad definition that money is the root of all evil is a false narrative. It's a Christian or biblical definition that tells you that you must deny yourself and allow the institutions to acquire that wealth through you, for them to keep it while you deny yourself. It is easier for a camel, what is that thing? The camel to go through the eye of a needle than a rich man to go into heaven. There are a lot of rich people here doing good with money, and they acquire that money through legal means. Money is not the root of all evil. It is how you acquire it that is the root of some evil, not all evil. Money can do bad things. Money can do good things. Excuse me, my stuff fell off while I was talking. Pardon me. Money can do good things. Money can do bad things. It is your definition of evil that is actually very or more important than this idea that has permeated, our scholarship, that money is the root of all evil. Money is not the root of all evil. It's never been the root of all evil. Jeffrey Dahmer is a serial killer. There's a whole bunch of serial killers out here that are poor people and committed all kinds of evil that is profound immorality and wickedness. They ain't got no money. They're not rich. Money has nothing to do with being the root of all evil. Money is the cause of some evil. But as far as the root of it is concerned, no. How you acquire the resources and what you do with it is the root of some evil. But all evil, no.
That's right. That's right. That's the point I was trying to make. It's not the root of all evil, but it's how we go about getting it, and how those who we look up to tell us how to get it. I mean, who doesn't want money? I know I want money. Everybody wants money. Without money, but it's how do I go about getting it? That's what's important. That's what we Cheers, we try to let our people know. Make your money, but do it intelligently, because part of being wealthy, part of having money is being happy. When you spend that money, you don't want to look behind you everywhere you go, because somebody knew how you got that money. There's an African proverb, Igbo proverb, that says, when you are stealing someone else's money, or you're getting money in a very ill-gotten way, truth is always following you behind. But when I talk about truth following you behind, I'm not necessarily saying that somebody else saw what you did, but that truth is in your head. And that's why you can't enjoy it, because you know you didn't get it right. You didn't get it the right way. So it keeps flogging you. And that's why some people have amassed a lot of wealth, but they know how they got it wasn't honorable. So they can't enjoy it. You know, do you know it's a all this money. You know, look at you. You got all this money, but you're not eating it. You're not enjoying it. That's because of how you got it. If you got it, if you make your money and you got it the right way, right? You enjoy it. You know, when you want to take your husband out, your wife out, the children out, you know, when you spend that money, that was honest money. You know, you're not going to eat the money. That's what it's for you to spend it to do good things for yourself and your family and perhaps the community. But if you get it in a way, you know, if it's ill-gotten, that's why we say, not necessarily that somebody saw what you did, but that ama is in your head.
Yeah.
Also, it follows you. As you're spending it, you're sweating, you're looking around to see who saw this, and then you don't even want to spend the money because you can't find happiness with it. Dr. Monet, your turn.
Yes, I agree. Money is not the root of all evil, nor the love of money is the root of all evil, because if you're saying the love of money and you're using it in the right way and you have the right energy behind that, it's not evil. Because, you know, for example, you know, I have my nonprofit organization, and we were able to be funded for a pretty large grant. And we had a choice. We said, well, we can either do this program and hire people and just try to take as much money from that as possible, or we can share that. So we're sharing that and giving people 47 organizations the opportunity to share in that wealth. And it's helping, not only is it helping them, it's helping us, because when it comes back around again, we will qualify for more funds. Plus, we're building these relationships, which is very valuable. The more relationships you build, the more wealthy sometimes that you become if you're building the better relationships. But also, we have to have integrity with ourselves when it comes to money. And a lot of times people don't. When it comes to money, they'll see money on the floor and their whole personality change. Mm-hmm. You know, everything about them changes. You thought that they were this great person and they receive a little bit of money and they become very, people that you don't want to deal with. So money should not change your character. I tell people all the time, and I've experienced all different levels of economic, people of all economics. And one thing that I always say, and even prior to me being married and in the dating world, I tell people, and even today and everything that I do, I cannot be bought or sold. You cannot buy me or sell me. Recently, told a client, I can't see you anymore, because they were out of integrity and their intentions for what they wanted me to do was not good. And they wanted to pay me. And I said, no, I am not going to be out of integrity with myself for a little bit of money. I don't care how much money, not even a little bit. If it's a lot of money, I will not be out of integrity with myself. I'm not going to go against my ancestors for money. I'm not going to go against Chineke for money. You cannot move me, and we have to get to that point. You cannot move me based on money, and so a lot of people are bought and sold. I noticed that. I noticed how people's character change when they get around people that are wealthy. I have a lot of people that I know that are wealthy, and you'll see the reaction and how people move. They're just people. They just have a lot of money. They're no different than anyone else, but people may move differently or may put them on a level of Chineke just because they have money, not realizing that Chineke provided that means for them. And that Chineke can provide that for you also. Because everything in this world, we all have access to. So my thing is, do not allow money to control you, control your character, to move you, and to develop develop who you are, because money is just a tool that we use here for survival at the moment. We never know when it can change. It could change back to a bartering, a bartering system. We never know. So, and then you have all this money and it means nothing. So my thing is, never be bought or sold. Never allow money to move you or change your character and have you out of integrity with yourself and others.
That's right. That's right. Well said. Well said. And that's just the thing. It seems like it's a contradiction. On the one hand, you need money to get things that will make you peaceful and happy and healthy. But then on the other hand, the pursuit of money can bankrupt your mind, your
Yes.
mind, body, and soul, and make you do, things that you ordinarily wouldn't do if that money wasn't there. So what's the person to do? My advice to anybody who's looking for money, don't chase it. Don't chase money, because you stumble when you chase money. Do what you're doing using your talents and abilities because it makes you happy.
Yes.
For the important thing is that what you're going after makes you happy. Sometimes people, I'm gonna tell you about me. I enjoy what I do so much. I don't focus on money. I just don't. If I focused on money, then I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. I do what I do because I get so much joy out of it. That's why I do it. So I don't chase it. Money sometimes do find me.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't go out there chasing after it. Mm-hmm. When I was operating group homes, I had money to play with. In other words, what I'm not to play with, in terms of giving to myself. I'm just saying that I had ample money to do whatever, to run my business and everything. Right now, I'm doing what I'm doing, and I'm preparing myself for the money that will come. But it is not my focus. Don't chase money. I use my talent and my abilities because it makes me happy. That's what you should do. If you're not chuck off, for what you seek, so shall you find. And the thing about it is that Chineke has it right out there for all of us. There's nothing that you want that you cannot have.
Yes.
There's nothing you need that doesn't exist. That means, some people may get theirs right now. Right now, you may see people with their millions, but it doesn't mean it's out of range for you. It doesn't mean that. Do the things that don't do anything just for money. And then everything that you do have a purpose, principle, ideal that you hold dear, that you will not compromise. Like Dr. Monet says, she will not compromise. You can give her all kinds of money. That's my thing.
Integrity.
Integrity. I will not compromise. If the price is right, I will not compromise. Like I said earlier, when you're stealing or you're taking things that don't belong to you, that truth is with you. It doesn't have to be thrown at you by somebody watching you and picking to say, yeah, you did anything. You know. Yes. That's what's going to get you. Don't ever compromise. Make your money, but make it in a good way. Don't use things to help people. Don't use people to get things. Because when those people are not there anymore, right? You don't have anything. If what you want or what you're doing is not the highest and the best for everyone else, leave it alone. Everything you do, you must do with integrity. That's how you enjoy your money. I'm gonna tell you, if I have $10 that I picked up on the floor and I spent it because nobody was there to see and I spent it, I'm telling you the honest truth. I don't know about you. I will wonder who dropped this money. Yeah. I'm enjoying. probably the last penny they had. I'm telling you, I wouldn't enjoy that. But that $10 that I worked hard and earned, I spend it because, hey, it's mine. I got it the right way. But that one that that you didn't work for, sometimes it makes you, of course, if you won the lottery, you don't complain. But if you got something that belonged to somebody else and you spend it, it doesn't give you joy. So money is not the root of all problems. It is how you make it. And believe it or not, ill-gotten money you can't keep.
Yes.
Ill-gotten money you can't keep. Look at what happened in Nigeria. I use Nigeria as an example. People hoarded so much money, billions of naira. Why? You couldn't even enjoy it. If you have it stacked up in your basement, that means you're not even enjoying it. You can't, because you're wondering, will people ask, how did I get it? And you didn't get it the right way. So you hoard it and peek out the window to see, can I leave the house now? Will somebody touch it? What if they break into my... You're never happy because you didn't get it the right way. So anything that you do to get money that will benefit just you and not benefit anybody else, if it's ill-gotten, leave it alone. If it's not going to bring you joy, leave it alone. Do all that you can do to make money, but do it the right way. Don't pray for money. That's a waste of your time. If you pray for money, that's an acknowledgement that you need something. But the important thing is to go after your prayer with effort. You can't pray for anything then you don't go out and fight for it. That's the important thing about making money. Make the money. Pray if you have to get that money, but make sure you have some action behind it. Now, let's talk about abundance. What does abundance mean? People think abundance is having a lot of money. Okay? That's not really what abundance is. Again, abundance is about how you feel, how good you feel about anything you have. If you expect to get something for nothing, or if you feel good when you get something without paying for it, you are violating the law of abundance. The law of abundance says that you must pay for what you get. Don't steal it. That is not abundance. You can have a house, you can hoard a house full of junk that you got from somebody else. Like sometimes I watch these shows, they have the camera, it shows people coming to people's porches and stealing their stuff. And then they show their houses full of stolen goods. That is not abundance. Taking things that you didn't pay for, you're violating the law of abundance, which means, as a matter of fact, you're going to continue to steal to get anything, because the law of abundance says that you have to work for what you get. And when you decide to work for something, it is not going to happen because of your habit of stealing. And someday you'll be forced to pay. Some people have been arrested, they're called porch pirates. They say one day belongs to the thief and another day belongs to the homeowner. Sooner or later, you'll be arrested. So abundance is not hoarding things that don't belong to you. You call that, I have an abundance of something. No, abundance of something. No. Abundance is having something that you paid for and you're not violating the law of abundance. You cannot benefit from the mistake or loss of another. In other words, if somebody loses something because of you, you don't get any abundance for that. Someday you'll be forced to pay. Are you a bargain hunter that want to just get something? You got the money, but you don't want to spend it. You want the cheapest little things that you can spend. You are violating the law of vibration. Cheap thoughts bring cheap returns. If you're cheap, the returns that come to you will be cheap. When you place yourself in low vibration, you draw things that vibrate on low level. Vibrate high. If you have the money to spend, by all means, spend it. Like I said earlier, you're not going to be buried with it. Save some and spend some. Have some time that you take to spend the money that you got legitimately. Because if you constantly, hide your money, that's operating at very low vibration. Your thoughts are cheap and your returns are cheap. Do you begrudge greatly spending money? That's the point I'm trying to make. If you don't spend money and you just hoard it, your vibration very low level. Do you begrudge paying your bills? Do you have your bills that pie high? That is violating the law of correspondence. When you withhold what you're supposed to do with that money, you withhold it, the universe will withhold from you as well. But if you do what you're supposed to do and you give wholeheartedly, people will begin to give to you. I'll take this to Yudi. I went the other day. I think Yudi, I think I shared this with you. I was at a store. I was getting myself something to eat, and there was this gentleman, and I'm watching him. He's going from place to place asking for food, from car to car, asking people to give him money. Well, people kind of shoved him away. He was a young white guy. He didn't look raggedy to me. He looked like a student or something. And then he was asking, and people just didn't have time. People just didn't have time. See, when you don't give to people when you have it to give, you are operating at a very low vibration. When I saw that gentleman, something just clicked in me. Feed the guy. Give him something to eat. I didn't think about it twice. I know I had my Visa card. I said, hey, he wanted cash. I said, I don't have any cash, but if you're hungry, I'll give you something to eat. He said, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And he when we got into the store, he wanted to know, oh, what can he have? I said, honey, order whatever you want. He said, can I have what you had? I said, by all means, go right ahead. So he had exactly what I had. But I'm telling you, that was the tastiest food I ever had. It was so tasty. To me, I felt so good that I shared my little wealth with him. And as I was, God bless you, ma'am. And you know what? I think I'm being blessed. I'm not hungry. I got too much food wasting in the refrigerator. So I'm being blessed. Anytime that you do for others, you are being blessed. You need to know that. Yudi, your turn. Go ahead.
I tell you, man, this topic sometimes it just brings out how do I say it? There's a sense of judgment that you have over all humanity, and this idea that money makes you happy. It's like money disorder, money worship.
Yes.
And what drives this belief system or behavior is the belief that having more money leads to greater happiness. No, it doesn't. Because there's a lot of rich people that died young. And they died young, not necessarily because they're rich. Yes. They died young because of the activities that got them the wealth in the first place.
That's right.
All right. You look at what's going on in South Mexico with the drug cartels and all that. You have the sicarios. You have this rich, young Mexican men. Most of them are millionaires.
Yes.
25 years old, 19 years old, already has about $50 or $100 million in the bank.
Yes.
At the age of 20, 21, he or she is dead, executed by somebody else. They acquired that wealth. They got into being sicarios. They got into the drug business. They got into these immoral activities that has, high risk, high reward, but never lived long enough to enjoy it. Money worship leads to what I call moral bankruptcy. You're morally bankrupt because you believe that money makes you happy. The more money you have, the happier you feel. But you forget that the activities involved in the money that you're acquiring will end your life just like that.
Yes.
The stress of acquiring money illegally can give you a heart attack and you're dead and you're hiding, you're running from the law, you're running from somebody else after you, trying to take over your territory or your business so that they themselves can have their, how do you say, cup runneth over. They can have this abundance, right? Having more
Yes.
than you need. Abundance of love, abundance of cash, abundance of everything. More than you need is abundance. Now, there's nothing wrong with having more than you need. If you have more than you need, then it is up to you as a morally conscious person to share the excess. Abundance is the opposite of scarcity. We don't want scarcity of love in our lives. We don't want scarcity of money. We don't want scarcity of morality. We don't want scarcity of water. We do not want scarcity of anything. We want exactly what we need to survive or more. And if you have more, it is up to you to share the excesses because you're not taking it with you, like Dibia has said in the beginning. You cannot compromise your morality, your integrity, like Dr. Monet, Dibia Monet mentioned earlier. This non-compromise of your morality really, to me, is the gateway to happiness. Like Dibia, you mentioned, when you're not looking behind your back to see who's watching, to see who's coming after you. There are a lot of rich people like Warren Buffett, like he's like the 5th richest man in the world, that are very happy because they share their wealth. And because they share their wealth, I think he's known as the Oracle of Omaha. Because they share their wealth and advise and teach people how to make money, people gravitate towards them. It is what you do with that money that is important. Money has never been the root of all evil. Having abundance is a beautiful thing. The difference is, what do you do with this abundance? I have abundance of love for my family, my spouse, my children, my brothers and sisters. It's overflowing. I have this in my heart. Why do I have to limit it to my family? Why don't I share this love with the public? Be a good person, just like you bought a meal for the person that was asking for a meal and it made you feel good. It's part of what you need to be a happier person. You're happier when you share this abundance. It's a beautiful thing. It's an astounding, it's the fullness of joy, strength, spirit, soul, body, the abundance of life. It signifies a contrast of feeling lack, emptiness, dissatisfaction in your life. Abundance motivates you or should motivate you to do good. Share the excesses. It is spiritually fulfilling. Our time on earth is very limited. Like you mentioned, Dibia. Yeah, they might bury you with a Rolls Royce, but guess what's going to happen to that Rolls Royce? It's going to rot in the ground with you. They might stuff you in your coffin with all the money that you've acquired. Guess what's going to happen to that money? It's going to rot with you. You're not going to be spending that money in some spirit world or in your quote unquote heaven or whatever you think the afterlife is about. You're not going to be over there relaxing, drinking wine, and talking about, man, I need to go buy a Rolls Royce. I need to go buy a Ferrari. You don't need 10 Ferraris. If you have 10 Ferraris in your garage, I'm only assuming that you have 10 Ferraris in your garage because car collection has become a business for you. But if you have 10 Ferraris in the garage because you want to drive one on Monday, you want to drive 2 on Tuesday, you want to drive 3 on Wednesday, something is wrong with you. Something is totally wrong with you. You don't need the excesses for the heck of it, just so you could, how do you say, obscenely display your wealth to the point where this obscenity has not caught the eye of a criminal that is now going to plan to rob you in your house or at your place of work, or when you get in your beautiful Ferrari to drive to your office or to drive to your business where you're operating your ill-gotten gains. Being good takes the target for the most part off your back. It doesn't mean that there are no crazy people out there that will come after you no matter how good a person you are. But it reduces the chances of even the criminals targeting you, because I am telling you, even criminals have a conscience sometimes. Ah, he's untouchable. Don't touch that guy because he's doing so much for the community, blah, 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 blah. You know, I don't want to go rob that guy, man, because he's a good person. There are criminals that have conscience. There are criminals out there that don't target good people. The criminals that target good people are usually the criminals that don't know that you are good, or don't know who you are, or don't know about things that you've done in your community. Maybe people on drugs and all that, and they don't care. But for the most part, the people that will bring you down as a rich person are people that are after your wealth, after your territory, after what you have, because they worship money. They live in this idea of having more than you need without sharing the excesses with others to make you spiritually fulfilled. If you're morally bankrupt, then of course, money will buy you love. But if you're morally astute, if you have a conscience, you will understand that money doesn't buy you love. What buys you love is what you do with it.
Yes. You're mute.
That
Oh,
that's yeah, that's what buys you joy. And for my part, then I'll go to Dr. Monet. Thank you, Dibia Yudi. My thing is, there is nothing wrong with making money. Be as rich as you want to be. But if you want to make money, put your behind on the line. Go out there and fight for it. Do what it takes you to get it. Bring a crew together. Just don't go and take it from others. Don't do it illegally. Put your behind on the line. No amount of prayer, no amount of dishing, money to the pastor to pray for you and all that. No amount of jumping up and down and screaming and yelling hallelujah is going to get you what you want. You want some money? Go out and fight for it. Do positive things. If there's something you want to have or something you wish to do in this life, the only way and the sure way that you're going to find that something that you want is to put your behind on the line. What do I mean by that? Be ready to work for it. I see these people going out here. You go to the store, somebody has a mask over their head, face, and they go out there and they point a gun at somebody and take what that person has. That's not putting your behind on the line. That's stealing. And you're not going to enjoy it. For the moment, yes. But if you want honest money, be ready. Everything that you want to have, places that you want to be, and anything that you want to experience in life, all those things are available to you. There's nothing hidden from you. Just like anybody else can get it, you can get it too. But you may not get it at that moment. Just because you want it right there, because your friend is driving a Mercedes or this and the other, and you just must have it. So you got to go do something crooked to get it. You will not enjoy it. You will wonder why your friend is smiling and happy, driving her Mercedes or whatever she's driving, and you driving the same thing, but you're not happy because you didn't put your behind on the line. You didn't get it the right way. You got whatever it is you want to do. Do it within reasonable limits.
yes.
Do not be convinced by anybody, not no pastor, not nobody. You look at your pastor and the pastor is driving a jet. Now you need to ask yourself, where's he getting that money from? He's getting it from you. He's getting from you. You see what I'm saying? So it's important for us to, yes, love money, but be careful how you get it. Ask for what you want exactly the way you want it. You will not get no for an answer. And if you get no for an answer, try again. put your behind on the line and try again to get it. Don't give up and then think you have to do it the correct way. Just like, I always go back to the Nigerian election. They tried to make a president who didn't earn it. Now, are they enjoying it? Is he enjoying the presidency? Of course not. Nobody has even, very few people have gone outside to celebrate that we got a new president. Everybody is in mourning. People are walking around here dressed in black. Anything that's ill-gotten will not make you a happy person. So go, fight as hard as you can. Do all that you must do to earn your wealth. And when you do get it, give a little. If you have $1, give a dime. The question I want to ask Dr. Monet, the question I want to ask everybody. You should ask yourselves, what do I need this money for?
Yes.
What do I need it for? Do I need it for me, just me? Do I need to buy a house? Have a reason why you need the money. Never go after money just because you want to hoard money. So you can say, oh, I have 100,000. There was a song, some musician was singing, I got 100,000 in my bank, blah, 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 blah. You don't have to have 100,000 in your bank to be happy. So all those who don't have 100,000, what are they, chop liver? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
go. So what do you answer that question? Isn't it good, Dr. Monet, that we should have a reason for the need for the money? Or is it just, we just need to have money?
Yes, I believe that it is good to have a reason for the money because, from what I feel is the best when you're dealing with money, and money is a energy also. What it has to do, it has to move. It has to flow. If we're giving it, if we're spending it, whatever we're doing, it has to come out of our hands. Hoarding money, just like in Spirit showed me a picture of water. When you see water and it steals, what does it do? It spoils, it dies. You have to have movement. And that's just the law of the universe. There must be movement in order for something to stay alive. So we have to think of our money and our finances something that is moving. It has to be moving and moving in the right direction. It has to have the right energy behind it. And so, yes, we have to assign a purpose for all of the money to come in, and how will that money come out, and how will the money come back to us? But we don't want to hoard money, because eventually, just like Your Excellency and Uncle Dibiayudi was saying, eventually if you die, what happens? You may have acquired all of this money, but when you die, you can't take it with you. So that money is just sitting there, and you end up losing it all anyway. And so you have, if you're allocating the money in some kind of way, if you're assigning, okay, where will my money go? How will I contribute? How will I utilize this money, and how will it come back to me? That is how money should be utilized. If we have a purpose, for that, we have to assign a purpose to our money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I just want to just read something right quick, Yudi, and then you can take over. Ukuna Ogochukwu said that most of the churches that preach prosperity by sowing seed, tithes, and offerings have the highest number of broke people.
And that's the truth.
That is so true, because I remember, and then Yudi, I'll take it away. But I remember when I was in Nigeria, I was in a hotel, and right across the street was St. Finbar's church, huge Catholic church. And this couple, the woman was pregnant, and they came to me. Somebody told them I was in that hotel. I don't know who told them that, but they came looking for me, and they needed money to go back to Lagos. And so I asked them, why did you ask your church to give you some money? They said, well, they tried, but they wouldn't, they don't have money to give them. I said, well, you invest your money every Sunday in there.
Mhm. Yes.
And now that you need them, they won't give it to you and you come to me. I said, you see, so wealth that's it's ill-gotten. It's ill-gotten because it's not being used to do what it's supposed to do. They're not using it for helping others. They're using it to build up the church. You see, and people are broke. Like Kunacha said, the members are broke people. So broke he came begging me for money, but the rich church couldn't give them a penny to go back to Lagos.
Wow.
You did go ahead.
Yeah, it's a painful observation, but it is what it is. And most of that pain to me is just the fact that people are not really educated when it comes to religion, spirituality, and the, how you say, to be morally healthy, to understand the workings of the universe. I mean, after all, those people that give money in churches, they give it voluntarily. They went to the
Yes.
church voluntarily. They sat in the pews voluntarily. And when the plate was passed around, they put their money voluntarily. Nobody put chains on them or a gun to their head to do it. They're just not educated up here. They just don't understand it. Sometimes I don't even blame them. These people were groomed from birth. You were groomed in your own household by your parents, particularly your mother. Then you were groomed in church every Sunday. You were groomed in school, primary school. I used to remember as a kid who would go to school and the singer, Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible told me so, without evidence. I just have to believe it because the Bible told me so. So in your home, outside your home, in your community, with your friends, you are fed this narrative that makes you think that if you give to the institutions that are, how you say, hypnotizing your mind and leading you astray, that somehow you're going to come out as a better person. And then some people even give money to the church because they want their name to be announced on Sunday so that the rest of the membership can look at them as somebody special, as the one given in the church. There's this hierarchy of giving. People
Yes.
that give a certain amount of money are regarded a certain way and all that. And then that plays into, I mean, this is too deep. There's something called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. There's
Yes.
5 of them. You start with the physiological all the way to self-actualization. Most people don't get to the sexualization actualization part. Somewhere along the line, we're stuck in the first rung, which is physical, physiological need, need for food, shelter, and all that kind of stuff. Maybe need for love on the second rung. But socialization is where a lot of people in church are stuck.
Yes.
They want to see you, oh, he goes to church. So your reason for living is because you go to church. Let people see you because you go to church. Your love life, your business relationships, everything is based on the fact that you're in the pew on Sunday. But anyway, that's another story altogether. There's a difference between hoarding money and saving money.
Yes.
All right?
Mhm.
Saving money requires a level of understanding of how money works and the imperative of just not bringing the money and spending it and then looking for money again. Saving has to do with trying to grow your money so
Yes.
that you can
Yes.
use it for things that are important to you. You could
That's right.
use it when things are not very good in your environment that requires that you not go into your savings to spend money. Perhaps when in your financial environment you lost your job. And if you had a healthy savings, then you're able to tap into your savings until you're able to get yourself going again. You could save to buy a car. You could save for your children's education. You could save to buy a suit that you've been wanting because you need a suit to be able to maybe go to some kind of event or maybe go to a job interview, whatever the suit may mean to you. You may need to save your money so that you could fix your car because you've been taking the bus and your car is sitting in the garage and you're having a difficult time going to work and handling your personal business because you don't have a car. There's so many different or you saving money for your children's education. There's so many different reasons for saving money. Hoarding money is totally different. It has to do with moral bankruptcy. It has to do with the idea that the money was gotten illegally. Ill-gotten gains, suddenly you find yourself hoarding money. The reason why you find yourself hoarding money, which is cash money, is because you cannot put it into the financial institutions. You need somebody to wash that money. You need to be able to take all that money you got and put it in the bank without somebody asking you any questions. So you get involved in what we call money laundering. You have to have somebody launder that money that you're hoarding. Because if your money is not illegal, you have no reason to hoard it. Now, there are some people that hoard money just because they themselves are evil. They don't want somebody else to have it. They don't want to pay the interest in the bank if they put their money in there. They don't trust the bank. They don't trust anybody.
And
So
you really, I'm sorry, the bank is a nightmare sometimes.
of course,
It
it's a
is a
nightmare.
nightmare.
I mean, I don't blame them for it. But the thing is, when you're hoarding money, somebody could just come in there, crack your skull, take that money. Now you ain't got nothing, right?
Yeah.
Because your money, there's no security behind hoarding. A lot of people that hoard money, especially people that do illegal things like drug dealers and all, they have armed people to guard that money.
Yeah.
You touch that money, you get killed.
Yes.
Right? So people that hoard money, usually there's just something evil about them. There's a level of moral bankruptcy, either the fact that you don't want to share with people or that the money is ill-gotten and you have to protect it because you can't put it in the bank. So you hoard that money. You have the abundance that you've always sought. Now that you got that abundance, you don't give it away. And if you do give it away, you're giving it away by purchasing life's excesses. You know, there's a guy, I was watching one of these cartel documentaries, and he has like 5, 8 machine guns, all made of gold. Guns kill people. It doesn't have to be gold. It doesn't have to be platinum, pure metal, silver. What difference does it make? Why does it have to be gold? Because he's hoarded so much money, he doesn't know what to do with it. So he decided to have gold ammunition and gold guns, molded or built for him, just so he could show everybody that he is at the tier of this immoral behavior, so that he could be feared, right? He could have just given away that money. I mean, some of them do. Pablo Escobar was building schools and all that, but it wasn't because he was doing it so that the people can look at him as a better person, but it was a way of making the people become prisoners, become protectors of him, so that when the government comes to ask about him in his township, everybody says nothing, because he is helping them with all these social issues that the government is not helping them with. And I just wanted to say something real quickly, and then I'll hand it back over to you. This thing going on in Tunisia, Africans dying in the Mediterranean Sea, Africans dying in the desert.
Yeah.
The only reason why a lot of these Africans, not all, but a lot of these Africans in Tunisia and all these other places that were not accepted, is because the government in the respective African countries are not doing anything to create the kind of environment in these countries that allows people to prosper. Nigeria, in particular, has almost 300 million people in it. It is a fifth of the total population of Africa, which is about 1.1 billion people. If Nigeria goes down in flames, and this is what people don't think about, there will be mass exodus outside the country into other respective African countries. And what's going to happen is these other African countries are now going to look at Nigerians as the enemy, as people coming over to take economic opportunities away from them. What's happening in Tunisia will happen in African countries. It was happening in South Africa. You know about that. What's going on in Tunisia is what it's evidence of the kind of leadership that you have in Black Africa. You know, we
But
say
the
that
leaders don't care. That's the problem.
they
They
don't
don't
care.
care.
But our father said, you cannot hold the people at gunpoint that don't want to be held. If these people are not spending their time in mosques, if people are not spending their time in the church, deferring to Jesus Christ, to God for their salvation, as opposed to taking the bull by the horn themselves and getting rid of any corrupt leadership, there are certain things that we need to do in Africa, including when I talked about the age group system of government and how it's incorruptible. This Western style democracy in Africa is just a cesspool for corruption. It's not part of our history. We know nothing of it. We adopted something that has nothing to do with the black man or woman. It has nothing to do with our history, culture, traditions, religion, nothing. And we expect it to work. We expect to be in the desert waiting for it to rain. It's not going to happen. I feel very bad for Nigerians or Africans in Tunisia. What's going on there is uncalled for. But I understand why it's happening. It is happening because there's an influx of Black Africans in Tunisia. And this idea, this racism thing, this targeting of quote unquote minorities or people of color, it's almost global. It's happening. It's been happening in America for over 400 years, even though they're the ones that came to Africa and brought black folks over here. It's going on in Asia. It's going on in China. It's going on in a whole lot of countries. You're only tolerated if the number of Africans in a particular country outside of Africa is minimal. If it is not minimal, you have issues. And we have these issues because of the terrible leadership, educational system, this idea that our salvation comes outside of us. This idea that God is going to come from the heavens and save us. This idea that we're not in control of our own destiny. This is the result of it. We've created our own hell. It started with, colonization, slavery, and then those slave masters and colonizers, one way or another, got our brains so messed up, took everything that is relatively African culture, history, removed it from our reality, supplanted it with theirs. Now we're walking around like zombies. We cannot manage our affairs. This thing will continue. It's going to get worse. Not only is it going to get worse because of the bad leadership in Africa, but as world resources decline, it's going to now happen in Africa. These same people that we are angry at, that are treating us bad outside of Africa, are now going to be in Africa fighting over our resources. We're not going to become the minority. It's starting here in America. The people of Hispanic persuasion, the Chinese, the immigration from other places are going to come here. Not only are you Black, at some point, we ourselves as Black people will become the minority right here in the United States. They will end up killing a
Oh,
whole
yeah.
lot of Africans for resources like water, drinking water, very important natural resource. We are already suffering from brain drain. The only Africans that are tolerated outside of Africa are those people that are smart enough to add to the economies of the same people that enslaved, justified our enslavement, the same people that colonized us. Doctors,
Yeah.
lawyers, engineers. We live in Europe. We live in the United States, never coming home to help develop Africa. The smartest people in the world, Africans, Nigerians, live outside of the continent. What you're left with are people that have been downtrodden for so long, have lost the capacity to fight because they don't have economic power. And those people that have economic power are not the good guys. We are responsible for our situation in this world. And until we look inward and understand that the leadership in Africa that is responsible for what we're suffering from outside Africa can be corrected if we ourselves decide that we cannot be held at gunpoint anymore.
Thank you.
Yes.
You know the thing, UD, they have really weaponized poverty.
Yep.
They've weaponized poverty to the extent that people now accept poverty. It is what it is, you
Yeah.
know. So what you can be, and then of course that makes you, if you're poor, then they keep you scraping for scraps, so that they will continue to be in charge. When you're hungry, you're not focused on tomorrow, you're focused on today. So when people are doing what they're doing, you're not paying attention. And somebody did ask me, well, so how do you accrue wealth? How do we do it? I'm trying to get a job, I can't find a job, I can't, I'm trying everything. So I asked, okay, so what have you tried?
Hmm.
Again, it is abundance as opposed to money. Some money is good, but you can't, if your mind is stuck on lack, you're not going to see the abundance. And when I talk about the abundance, I'm talking about the things that are around you that represent abundance that you can tap into if you're not focused on lack, if you're not focused on what you don't have. We will never accrue the wealth, experience the success, do the things we really want to do, as long as we go after money the wrong way. Don't go after money. Use your talent to build something that will make you money, because what we think of where we get money is where, if we get a job, job, just over broke, we think about job. I got to go get a job. Yes, there's something wrong with trying to get a job, but when you do that, you're chasing after money. If you have talent, if you don't discard your talent, money will come to you. So if you can't find a job, use your talent. Find something that you can do. Every one of us have something that we can contribute, that we can sell. Ideas can be sold. Art can be sold. There's so many things that we can do to make money. It's not just getting a job. Get a job if you can find a job, but if you can't find a job, that's not the end of it. What can I do, to make money? There are other things that you can do. You can, if you're a good typist, you can put an ad in the paper, say, hey, I'm looking for work. I'm a typist and I can do this, that, and the other for you. Market yourself. You just never know. Your good cannot come to you if you're stuck with what you don't have. I don't have this. I can't do this. I can't do that. You have no room for blessings if your words are just a bunch of words of limitations. You will not notice or be open to new experiences if you're stuck in the old ones. You don't want to move, but I tried this and it didn't work. So, I'm going to stay right here, and then I'm going to pray. I'm going to wish it into existence. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Always keep moving, keep it moving, keep racking your brains. What new ideas can I bring to the table? What you want may be totally new to you. Okay, it may be beyond your highest expectation, but it may happen if you believe that it can happen, if you go after it. That's why I said earlier, put your behind on the line. Don't just sit and say, I don't have. You keep speaking lack into the universe, and that's what you get back. So how do you make the money? Well, there are several things. Make a list of them. Make a list of the kinds of things you can do to make money. Number one is get a job. Okay, that's one. What about two? Do you have a talent? What is that talent? Can you market that talent? Okay, how can how can it get you, where you want to go? Are you getting in your own way by saying, I don't have it, I can't do this, other people are lucky? Nobody is lucky. The only people who are lucky are those whose parents maybe have money and they bequeath them, they get their parents' money. But there are people here who made it. Things that we're enjoying from people who just had a spark, a brand new idea. Like the young man, and you probably know that he made millions. He's still making millions. It was in his garage. Okay, and he knew that he put wheels on tennis shoes, and people are wearing tennis shoes and skating, right? The first year he made $900 million.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
Wow.
All over the world, people wanted that stuff. So just little ideas that you have. You don't know what your idea will do for you. Yeah, the little guy, I don't know if you heard about it. The young man who was, when they were counting money for P2B. I mean, they were counting the ballot for P2B, and he was behind the guy who was counting it. and he was saying LP, LP, that which is Labour Party, LP, and people would say 75, LP 75, Obi 75, Obi one name, now he has thousands of followers overnight. What I'm saying in effect is, don't underscore what can happen if you're not full of lack. If you're not, just don't speak lack into the universe. If not, nobody wants anything that they can't have. Speak into the universe what you want. Make a list of all the possible ways you can make money. Job is not just the only way. And that's why many of us, we wear the same suit, we clean it, and we go even to the point that we'll have a sign says, we'll work for food and all that kind of stuff. And then maybe you're a singer. Okay, if you want to be out there, go out there, put a little cup on the floor, start singing. People love to hear people sing. They'll give you money. There's so many things that you can do. There are some young people who are in the train. They go on the train, right? And then they dance in the train. And so what has happened, not train, shuttle. Now everybody knows them and they make money entertaining. All right. So the point I'm trying to make is, there's nothing that you want you cannot have. You just have to believe that you can. Okay. Winning is, if you want to play football or basketball and you want to win, you got to play hard. You got to say to yourself, hey, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to win at it. It's not going to happen for you. Nothing happens for you unless you're just pure lucky. Something is thrown at you. So you have to work hard for what you want. Believe that you can get it. Stop saying what you can or cannot do, what is in your way and what is not in your way. Whatever is in your way, push it out of the way. Don't think like, excuse me, don't live in lack. Don't live in lack. That's the point I'm trying to. It's NP 78. That's the point I'm trying to make. Put it out there. Believe in it. If you're not took off for what you seek, you shall get. Go. But again, like I said earlier, be willing to put your behind on the line. In other words, do whatever it takes. Don't panic. Don't give up. Keep going. This young man, Ukuna Charles, is telling me he now has 130,000 followers in a week.
Wow.
He made 20,000 in one day.
Wow. That is
followers. Just because he was saying LUP and the people were saying 75, Ubi, all that stuff. Now there's so much music, everybody's playing his words.
Yeah.
And he bowed down to the ground. He cried and he thanked Peter Obi for this opportunity, because had he not gone to vote, he wouldn't have. This wouldn't have happened for him. So it's not always about getting a job. What is it that you have to do? Make a list of it. Every one of us make a list. I work. My husband said, "Go to bed." I work sometimes till 4 a.m. in the morning. I'm still working. I'm not working for money. I'm working for an idea. I'm working to put that idea into place. And I know when I'm done with it, the money will come. I lose sleep because of that, not because I'm chasing money. Because if that was the case, I would have given up a long time ago. I do what I do because I know at the end of the day, this is what's going to happen. I've already said 2, 3, 4 years from now, what I do, this is what I'm going to get from it. I'm not sitting here and trying to say who got this and who got that. I don't care what you got. Good for you. It's a good thing now you got something, whatever that may be. So we need to get out of that mindset. I don't have. I can't do it. Yes, you can. And you must. Dr. Monet.
Yes. I just wanted to say, and I do agree with you with the talents, because, and I believe we talked about that before here, in the African way of pursuing our purpose and what we're here for. That will get us the wealth that we need, the abundance that we need, and not only the abundance, but a quality of life. And so we must pursue that of which we are talented with. And first, before we can pursue that, of course, we have to identify that. And then once we're able to identify that, we're able to move forward and able to produce wealth with that, because that is what we are purpose here to do. Our talents, our gifts, those things that we a lot for a lot of us is innate in us, and so we must pursue that. That's true abundance, and a lot of times what's connected to our gifts and our talents, our purpose, is passion. Usually we are passionate about those things that we have been gifted with, but for many people we don't pursue those things because we live in a society that does not encourage that. Our society encourages us just to kind of go with the flow. Go, there's nothing wrong with going to school or anything like that. But, for a lot of people, it's not, for the purpose of building equity into what it is that they are good at, their talents and things like that. Whatever we're doing, if we're going to school, if we're pursuing a job that's not quite what we want at the moment, that lines up with our talents, we must make sure that everything we're doing is building equity in our end goal, and that of which what we're purposed to do, and that will create abundance for us, not just wealth, but abundance. And abundance being a holistic, looking at things from a holistic sense. Abundance meaning attached to our happiness, attached to our love. If we're happy or we're doing things that we enjoy to do, we're going to spread that happiness to people around us. We'll be able to add to the lives of people around us. And that is true abundance. We don't want to just get a job. You can have a job making $1 million a year, making, $10 million a year, but you hate going there. And at the end of all of that, you may work there until you're 65, 70 years old. And a year later you die because every day it was just so difficult for you to go there. It did not line up with your purpose. It did not bring equity to your purpose. You did not retire and say, well, I've learned all of this from this career, and now I'm able to really pursue what it is that I know I'm here to do. And so we have to take all of these things into account. We only live one life, so we can't just go with the flow and how society has structured things. And then to add to that, what Uncle Dibia Yudi said, for us as Black people, a lot of times we have been put in a position because of structural racism, because of the structures that have been in place for those Africans and those of the diaspora. Those things have been put in place. It has made it very hard for us to pursue who we really are. In order for us to gain wealth, in order for us to pursue our gifts, to gain wealth through our gifts and our purpose, when you are suppressed, that is very difficult. And I agree with that also. But if we have the opportunity, where we are not oppressed, where we don't have those restrictions on us, then we need to wholeheartedly go for that of which we're purposed to do, that of which China K has brought us here to do at this moment.
Well said. Well said. Oh. We can't hear you. She's not.
Yeah, she doesn't hear.
She doesn't.
It's muted.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but we can't hear her.
We can hear
Yeah,
you.
you can hear me.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. We got you.
All right.
How
All
are
right.
you?
How you
All
doing?
right. Yeah,
You
sorry,
finally
I have to switch from one internet to another. The internet here is bad. That's very
wow.
bad.
Understandable.
So I have to switch from Glo to Airtel. Now I'm
Oh
on
my
MTN.
goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh dear.
That,
Sorry
that's
Question
about
is
crazy.
that.
this table.
Sorry about that. We need new leadership. Maybe things will get
Uh,
better
okay,
We
Divya,
hope.
I sent you something on the email. It's a PowerPoint. I will speak to it.
today.
Yeah, just now.
You did. You sent it via email.
Yeah, via email. I'm trying to send it by WhatsApp.
Oh, okay. Okay. UD, go ahead and speak on what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
And I
As
just
far
want to
as as far
go
as
ahead.
money and how we acquire that money is concerned, and how we use that money is concerned. As people of African ancestry, I do believe that if we paid enough attention to our history and our culture, our traditions, then there are certain principles that we should live by. You know, that when you acquire wealth, when you have money, when you're able to not worry about how to take care of yourself or your family or people around you, when you are a productive member of the society, there are certain principles that we should live by. And I'm just going to address some of those principles, and I'm going to use Kwanzaa as an example. Now, you say Kwanzaa, people from Ghana, people from maybe Nigeria or whatever. Some people may say, "Oh, we don't know what that is." No, yes, you do. It's just called something else in your language. It's sort of like Allah, Chineke, Olodumare, Tamuna, Jehovah, God in many languages. It means the same thing. There's no difference. If I pray to Allah, trust me, I'm talking about Chineke. If I pray to Chineke, trust me, I'm talking about God. If I pray to God, trust me, I'm talking about Ubangiji, so on and so forth. Umoja, unity, to strive for and maintain unity in your family, in your community, in your nation, and your race. Live by those principles, you will see that you're able to put your money in good use, better use. Self-determination, live by that. Collective work and responsibility, live by that. Cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, faith in your environment, in Chineke, your fellow human beings. I'm talking about Umoja, Kuji Chagulia, Ujima, Ujama, Nia, Kumba, Imani. There are certain principles that we have to live our lives by, right? And these principles really has nothing to do with your race. A European can live by those same principles. A
Yes.
Chinese person can live by those same principles. An Aztec, a Mayan, an Inca, a Japanese, an Indian, a British person, we, a Russian, we can all live by those principles. And the unifying factor behind those principles is what in Chiism we call Biri Ka Mbiri, live and let live.
Yes.
Live and let live. If that is what governs your morality, you will find out that money suddenly is not the root of all evil. You are able to do great things with money. Bidi can bidi, live and let live. Don't acquire money by killing somebody. Don't acquire money by destroying your environment.
Mhm.
Don't acquire money by pitting your brother or your sister against one another. Don't acquire money by trying to deny somebody else their right to live a happy life. Don't
Yes.
acquire money by impugning somebody else's credibility just so that you can prosper, depending
Mhm.
on what prosperity means, how you define it for yourself. Do not take from somebody else to make yourself rich and make those or that person destitute, because you're always going to look behind you. Money is a good thing. It is what you do with money that is in question. It is how you acquire wealth, money that is in question. How do you define success? What does that look like? You cannot just define success by the amount of money in your coffers. Fostering great relationship is part of your success in life. Having a cohesive, loving family is part of your success in life. Being a positive contributor to your environment and your community is all part of what makes the world go round and makes your life worth living. It is how you acquire money and what you do with money that is what determines whether money is a good thing or a bad thing. But one thing I can tell you, money is not, has never been the root of all evil, because evil has always existed in our consciousness. It is part of this cauldron of life. From the time that the world was created, whether it's through the Big Bang, whatever God means to you, whatever creation means to you, evil have always existed in every culture. It is part of this poison pill that we all have to swallow, because as far as I'm concerned, as a philosopher, it's the opposite of good. Without evil, you wouldn't know what's good. Without short people, you wouldn't know who's tall.
Yes.
Without fat people, you wouldn't know who's skinny. Evil.
That's right.
It is what you do with the understanding of that evil and good. If you understand evil and its purpose, you understand good and its purpose, then you are spiritually enlightened. Amarachi has become your destiny.
Yes.
So it is. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Dibia
Yes.
Yudi. Excellent.
Yes.
Okay, Dr. Dibia Dozier has a PowerPoint that he wants to share with us. So let me see if I can pull that up. Share screen. Let's hope I can share it. Okay. All right. I'm going to share this. Okay. Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay. You can
there
see
we
it.
go.
There we
Okay.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Divya, go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, all. Like we say down here, I'm not standing now, I'm sitting, so let me sit on the existing protocol. I hope I'm allowed, though we are not in the military.
Yes.
Uh, I'm,
Absolutely.
so- yeah, I'm sorry I came late. It's a problem we're experiencing here. Internet fluctuation is terrible.
Yeah.
But not to waste of time, let me add my humble voice to the topic of today, which is about religion and corruption. Well, I didn't hear much of what Dr. Monet talked about, but I guess she did justice to the topic exactly. And Dibia Ude, Choja, I I heard much of what you said, and of course, you said it all. And so, to standing on has been said so far on the program, I just want to add my own little voice. When we look at religion, so what is the ultimate goal of religion? Religion has a goal. The ultimate goal of religion is the same as spirituality,
Yeah.
is to make man, to actualize the divine in man in the society.
Yes.
In fact, religion was one of the earliest ways by which the humans administered their society. In it was ensconced, in fact, culture, religion, spirituality, politics. They were all ensconced in one. And so the very reason for founding religion, for establishing religion, is to make man to be moral, to make man to be human beings to be civilized. That's the essence. Because if we go by the social contractarians, They said before, the theory is that before the establishment of society, life was nasty, brutish, and short. And so society was founded to tame the excesses of the human being, the animalism in us. I will get to that. So the religion has the same goal as society. We founded religion so that we can help human beings to to bring out the good inside us and to make us to tame the animalism in us. Because if you go by what the human being is, if you go by what the human being is, we are like this half animal, half beast. I didn't have time to bring up that picture, that image. I would have brought up that image of half animal and half beast. So there's a part of us that is animalistic, and it has to do with desires, emotions. Unfortunately, they are also part of us, and they're part of our spirituality. And there's a part of us that is rational, imaginative. So we have the lower faculties and the higher faculties of the human being. So what is the role of religion in all of this? Okay, so if you look at it, it is about activating and actualizing the divine in man. Every spirituality, just like every religion, acknowledge that humans are a manifestation of the cosmic force or the divine. So there is a divine essence in us. So religion is to help us to actualize this divine essence. But how exactly do we do that? Next slide, please. Next slide.
Is this yes? That's the next slide.
Yeah, next slide. The one below.
The one underneath. Click on that one.
On the left.
On the left side, the one above it has a red border. Click on the next one. Underneath.
The one underneath.
Keep talking. Just keep talking.
All right then. So I had to go into Alpha, or what we call Ifa in Yoruba, and it was called Alpha. Now, why do I have to go to Alpha? The thing there is
Can I stop you for a minute? Can I stop you for a minute? Can I stop you?
All right.
Can I stop you for a minute? Is the next slide the one that says sunset female, sun rising male?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
just follow the line.
The dynamic system.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, just follow the stuff on the left.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you look at it, Alpha is a derivation of the cosmic, how the cosmic manifested in the human environment and how it connects the human being. That's because there's a three-level of connection here. The self-order in tandem with the environmental order. That environmental order is also the societal order is part of the environmental order. Then the self-order and the environmental or societal order both are ensconced in the cosmic order. So Alpha is exactly how the human entity appears at each point in time within the cosmic forces. And if you look at it, the 15th Mfiafa Odifa, known as Osenabo or Ogolinabo, and meaning Osemeji in Yoruba, if you look at it, let's first analyze it. You see that already without even analyzing further, it's looking like a human being. There you can see his head, hands, then of course the human trunk, then the legs. This is how every human being should be, a manifestation of the grace of the cosmic. And then I have put the two there because why do Africans talk about the two, never one, instead of talking about Ose, plus one. We talk about Osenabo because we're talking about male and female. So human being for us is male and female. The two irreducible. You cannot reduce male to female. You cannot reduce female to male. And that means both of them have to be moral. We have to be moral. We have to be godly for us to have a complete society. And so the male represents sun rising, the female represents sunset. Of course, where you find the male factor as sun rising or sunrise, it depicts resilience, reliability. Of course, where you find the female represents prosperity, wealth. All right. And then, of course, as the 15th Mfiafa, it belongs in the last four segments because you have to count it 444. The first four, the second four making 8, the third four 12, and then the last four making 16. And so it comes under the dynamic system, or set comes under the dynamic system, which deals with momentum, movement, moving forward. And so we are talking about managing space. When we manage our space, what do? We all are to make choices. We all have to express our freedom. We all have to define our ambitions, and we have to seek for recognition. If there is no social structure to help us structure us, direct us how we should go about pursuing our daily bread, our ambitions, the tendency is that exploitation will come in. So the next slide, the next one. Yes, that one. No. All right. Yeah. Aha. So you can see it there from Osenaba. We now have male, female, human being. So human being for us is by the human personality. The female is made to be female. The male is made to be male, and they are made to be complementary. So you do not place emphasis on one over and above the other. The two must be well brought up. So in the African spirituality, it's not a case of putting the pressure on the man and let the man tolerate everything the woman does, or putting the pressure on the woman and let the woman tolerate all that the man does. No, both of them have to be brought up to know their roles in ensuring that society is sane, there's sanity in the society, no corruption. Each person has to tackle his or her own side of the coin. Next slide. Now, if you look at it, this is Orinabo. That's Ogoninabo. This Orinabo. This Iwori Mechi. Now, when you look at it, if you tabulate Orinabo, it says 2112. Now, if you look at it, what does Orinabo represent? Iwori Meji. It's at the metaphysical realm, the first four primordials of Mfiafa, where you have Obinabo, Akunabo. Orinabo is the third one. Odinabo is the fourth one. Now, what is Ori all about? Ori is about being, the subject matter here is being. And what is Ori all about? It's about freedom, expression of freedom, choice. That's what the human being is built to do. That's what we are meant to do. We are meant to go all out, explore the space, explore the universe, express our ambitions, seek for our wants, our desires, make choices. But in doing so, if we are not guided, then it can erupt into a very difficult situation of corruption. So society, religion exists particularly to tackle this problem. So if you look, the normal human being is that the head must always be dynamic, flexible. Then the heart has to be fixed. Of course, and then the stomach has to be fixed. These are dealing with the desires, emotions. All right, and then the leg has to move with the head. And when this is there, we call it grace. Ojinabo is the opposite. Now, the normal human being, the desire must be fixed because the head must control the desires. And that's where we talk about the higher faculty of the mind controlling the lower faculties of the mind, the heart and the stomach. And that is why, whether in religion, in any cadre of leadership, the advice is that those who have attained the age of the head, those who have attained the age of the head, whereby their higher levels of the mind, reason, imagination, like control their appetites, like we talked about ndidi the last week, talked about ndidi, patience, and we say it's a virtue. So those who have attained that high are those ones who should run the institutions of the society, whether it's religion, whether it is politics, whether it is economics. Those who have attained that height of ndidi are those who should sit in the position of leadership. Those with low, who are at the level of lower appetite should not be allowed to be at the helm of affairs, at the leadership position of the social institutions. Once they do that, corruption will come to the fore. So, next slide. So we'll look at it now. Spirituality grants us direct access to the divine through nature or meditation. In nature, we can see the divine. That's spirituality. In meditation, we communicate with the divine directly, no intermediary. The religion creates for us intermediaries, mediums of intercession. This is where corruption begins. By the time you begin to have pastors, priests, imams, bishops, pope, corruption has begun to set in, because these are individuals on their own. They have their own needs. They have their own wants. They are normal human beings. There's nothing that makes them special. There's nothing special about any one of us here that is on the program. There's nothing special about me. I'm just like any other human being. What could be special about me is if I allow the trainings that have been given to me to tame my appetite. And that, I think that's the point that Dibia Charger was making. You have to learn how to control your appetite, to tame your appetite. But religion gives the opportunity for exploitation. That is how corruption begins to come into religion. Because religion, so we see corruption derives from the human factor. We are corruption, the source of corruption ourselves. Corruption is not outside us. Yes. Corruption is not a trailer, it's not a vehicle, it's not any object outside us, it is inside us. And the social institution will either help us to tame or behave corruption. Then corruption is inherent in human nature. Next slide. All right, so if corruption is inherent in us, social systems, just like religion is a social system, social institutions either facilitate or ameliorate corruption. And what do I mean by this? For religions to accomplish its goal in the society, there has to be state control. State control, not in the sense of telling which religion you should practice or which religion you should not practice, but ensuring that religion serves the interests of the people. That religion does not become a tool of exploitation. One of the essential problems in Africa today is that religion is left in the hands of the individuals who use religion for their own personal advancement. And that's because there is no ideologies. I had a Diba Church that talked about the principle of Ujamaa, live and let live. It's an ideology. In a state where there is no ideology, because in ideology you have to define the kind of society you want. When you define the kind of society you want, then you have to talk about the kind of human beings that will live in that society. In that case, morality and ethics become the tool. Morality, religion, ethics, they become tools for molding those ideal kind of human beings you want to live in that society. Then politics becomes an instrument for the pursuit of the ideal state. That is why with that we talk about God. God is not only for worship. In fact, traditional Africans did not worship God. They behaved God. God was built into the spiritual institutions so that anywhere you go, you did not escape or follow.
Yeah.
You have the principle of regulation.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
As a symbol. But you're already the society is structured in such a way that you have no choice but to be regulated.
Yeah.
From moving from one age grade to another, in the guild system, the professional group, it is there. In the family, it is there. So in the three structures that form the foundation of the society, the family that was extended, Ofonogu was the principle there. In the guild system, the professional group, Ofonogu is there. And in the age grade system, Ofonogu is there. So you could not escape it.
Yeah.
Even though you don't have the first symbol, you are structured to behave by regulation. That's the principle of communalism. So the problem today is that religion has been left in the hands of charlatans, individuals who use it for their own beck and call. And that is one of the problems of liberalism. Because if you go to states like Russia, Israel, and some other China, religion is not a state matter. It is built into the ideology of the country. Religion, the primary goal of religion, yes, is to prepare us for salvation. How? By making us live a well-behaved life here on earth, because there is no place for the sinner in heaven. Which is why our own traditional religion says, if you don't pass, if you don't merit to graduate to heaven, you will keep reincarnating. You keep reincarnating until you attain that level of
yeah.
Then you can go to heaven. It is not like the system that says when you fail, we keep pushing you, managing you. Then at the end of the day, we put you in eternal hell where you burn and blast it forever and ever. Well, I don't know what kind of God will tolerate that. But our says, on your dark class, you repeat here. You fail class, you repeat.
Oh boy!
It is when you pass class that you will graduate and go to heaven. So you see, the problem we have in our hands in our society is that we have left religion in the hands of individuals. If now you know that religion, churches are registered. I don't know if mosques are registered, but churches are registered. They are registered like a CAC, and then they have signposts. As soon, and that is why in traditional African society, back in our traditional society, religion was not for the preaching. God was not for the preaching. Because once you begin to preach God, it becomes a commodity for sale. So as soon as you mount a signpost, so branch of a church, or so brand of church, you have made God a commodity already. And once God is commoditized, it is commercialized, and it can be privatized, it can be capitalized. So God becomes a capital, a means for individuals to feed themselves, which should never be. That is my own little contribution. Thank you.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Everyone, you got a little extra that we have bagged for today. Thank you so very much, Dr. Wow. Thank you, Divyane, all of you who joined us today. We appreciate your time, and I hope that something that we shared today will add to your repertoire. And you certainly need to go out to make money. There's nothing wrong with it, but just be careful how you do it, because money comes to you if you do it the right and you take the time to share. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much, and I hope everybody has a good day. Yagazino.
Yagazia. All right.
We're going to end